Now, assuming that you're human, you will at some stage in your life have bought something that you regret. In fact, there's probably something within your eye line right now that you regret purchasing. How do you stop that from happening in future so that you're not thwarting your decluttering efforts, particularly now when it's coming into sales season and advertisers are really trying hard to push their products at you? Let's go. Hi guys, it's Laura and I help you live a simpler, happier, more spacious life. And I know that you are trying to keep your home clean and tidy and clutter-free, and you don't want to make the same purchasing mistakes again. You want to know what to look out for, all of those kind of red flags of regret, if you will, so that you are not sucked into spending more money on stuff that you don't need. Well, here they are, all of those red flags, all of the hard lessons that I have learned along the way. Well, first off, this was a hard one for me back in the day, and that is things that you think you can make work, particularly, at least for me, clothing. You're not quite sure it suits you, you're not quite sure it fits you, not sure if it's your style or, if it goes with anything else that you have in your closet. You don't quite know if you can pull it off, but you think, you know what, somehow, particularly if it's on sale, by the way, somehow I'll make this work. Listen, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. 99.9% of times, you can't. You just can't. When I think of all the money I could have saved myself with all of those items of clothing that I bought, thinking I can make this work, no, I would have saved myself an absolute fortune. But it's not just for clothes, it's for all of those other things as well. It's those storage tubs, that aren't quite what you're looking for, maybe not quite the dimensions, but you think, you know what? I'll make it work. Or the piece of furniture, you're not quite sure it'll fit in with the space, like you love it, but you don't know if it will go with all the other pieces you have, but you think, I'll make it work. That decorative item that you saw that really doesn't fit in with the style of your home, it's not quite the aesthetic that you normally go for, but it's so cute. And you think, yeah, I can probably make that work somewhere. But listen, you can like something, a lesson I learned a long time ago, and just leave it there. Just leave it on a shelf. You can take a moment to admire it and think, you know what? That's lovely. I used to have this problem all the time when I thought about how I wanted my home decorated, because I like so many different styles, but I realized I can like them all. There's nothing wrong with that. But that doesn't mean I have to have all of them in my home. I can pick one, stick with that, and then still admire and, look at pictures of other types of homes and enjoy decorations and furnitures and stuff from other styles. But that doesn't mean that I have to own them. If you're trying to shoehorn, it's because it just doesn't fit. Moving on from that then, it'll do items. When you're considering a purchase and you have kind of multiple different options and you feel very overwhelmed and, you're looking at one and you think, that is what I need, but the price tag, not what you need. So you think you'll go with the cheaper one because, again, surely it'll do the same job as the one that costs twice as much, right? You want to believe that the cheaper one will still do the same job. Maybe it doesn't have all the same features, but again, it'll do. Or a mistake that I used to make all the time, and honestly sometimes still do, but you're in a rush to make a decision, so you just pick up anything at all that even remotely fits the bill and you think, yeah, it'll do. You don't have time to research, you don't have time to think things through, you just gotta grab and go. Let me tell you, I have always regretted this when I have done it with gifts. I'm the type of person, even though I'm organized, because there are so many events that crop up through the year, I generally leave them till the last minute, particularly Christmas. And here's why. My mother's birthday is at the end of October. My father's, my brother's and my aunt's are at the end of November, and I have a cousin's in December. So to me, I'm trying to get kind of like the birthdays out of the way first, like they're my focus first. And then Christmas just kind of like jumps at me out of nowhere all of a sudden. Then the scramble is on to try and find even more gifts for the people that you have just gifted something to. But I know how difficult it can be to think of the perfect gift for someone. It's not always easy to know what to get someone, to put that thought and effort into it. But I know anytime I have kind of panic purchased something, I've never felt good about it. I end up disappointing myself and potentially disappointing the other person as well. When you buy something just for the sake of it or because it'll do, generally you're wasting your money. That's a purchase that you're not going to feel good about. And now, things that are part of your fantasy life and not your actual life. Now, yes, you can buy something that you want to try out. You know, you want to take up a new hobby, a new pastime or something. You're interested in something and you delve into it a little bit and you buy something that might aid in the process. That's fine. But if you are buying something to try and motivate yourself to do something as part of your fantasy life, that is where you're going to end up with regrets. Probably the most common one, and I have made this mistake, is when it comes to getting fit and healthy. You know, maybe the new year rolls around or something and you think, yep, this is the year, this is my time, gonna get fit. You go out, you buy all the workout clothes, you buy a yoga mat, you buy, I don't know, like new running shoes, you buy fancy new headphones, all the things, fitness trackers, although I do actually use this, but all of those different types of things. Maybe you sign up for a gym membership and then no, it all falls by the wayside 2 weeks later. Again, speaking from personal experience. The thing is, if the commitment and the habit is not already there, is not already in place, then nothing you can buy is going to bridge that gap. Dip your toes in the water first without buying anything. Try and build the habit, try and get used to something before you commit your money as well as your time. Rash decisions usually lead to regretted decisions. Having a fantasy life is all well and good. We should all dream and aim for something and have all of these goals, and that's great. But like I said, if you are buying something to motivate you to want to do those things, you're going to end up going down the wrong path. Figure out how you can get your fantasy life without spending money, at least initially. Take a few steps, figure out if it is for you first, and then commit. Don't spend money to create a fantasy life. Create the life first and then invest in it. I know there are going to be some exceptions with this next one, but I feel they're going to be few and far between, honestly. That is any cool gizmo or gadget that you saw in an ad, specifically Instagram ads or as seen on TV ads. I don't even have anything to demonstrate for this category because I have decluttered all of those things, but I learned from a very young age that things that you see on TV or that you see in an ad are never the same when you actually have them in your hands. All of those flashing lights and those lasers and sounds and stuff. Yeah, no, when you get it, it's just a weak light when you press a button. Very disappointing. We all know that on a rational level. We all know that advertisers pump tons of money and, editing software into making things look amazing. And then in real life, they can't live up to the hype. So yeah, like I said, I learned this from a very, very young age, like when I was a kid and, I would beg for some toy that I'd seen on TV and then I'd get it and be really disappointed because my toy did not do what it did on the TV. Having said that though, I am not impervious to advertising. I still fall for it. Even though I'm now in my late 30s. Hate saying that, by the way. But anyway, about 2 or 3 years ago-ish, I saw something in an Instagram ad. It was essentially a phone stand, but it was shaped like a credit card, but it was like flexible and you could fold it. But, very easy to carry around, slip into your wallet or whatever, and then anytime you needed to prop up your phone. And I thought, you know what, this is great. This is going to solve a problem that I have, you know, when I'm trying to watch something on my phone and, you know, I need to be holding it, but then I can't eat my sandwich or whatever. So I bought it. Yeah, I ended up decluttering that very quickly. Piece of junk. Whatever you see in an ad is probably not an accurate reflection of how you are going to utilize this thing in your everyday life. It's not going to be as cool, as amazing, as like multifunctional as you think it will be. You're not going to use it as often as you think you will. Despite what the ad would have you believe, it's not going to solve all your problems. Next up in the list of things that you will always regret buying is stuff that you purchase to fit in or to feel trendy. Kind of like the fantasy life one, except this time you are buying essentially for other people. You know, you want them to like you or think you're cool, think you're trendy. You know, you want them to respect and admire you. You want to impress them, make them think you're successful and rich. But things that you buy need to be for you, because when no one else is around, you are the one that is stuck with that thing 24/7. You are the one that has to clean it, maintain it, upgrade it, and you're the one who is going to have to pay the credit card bill for it. My phone is at least 5 years old at this stage, and I wear that like a badge of honor that I have got so much life out of this phone. Now, yes, I'm not going to get much more out of it, but still, I have put it through its paces. It has served me well. I haven't just discarded it at the drop of a hat. The same is pretty much true for clothes as well. You know, I gravitate towards the same style, the same type of clothes over and over again, because those are the things that I actually like to wear. I know my style, I know what I feel good is, and frankly, I don't care if 90s children's TV presenter is not trendy right now. As far as I'm concerned, it's always in style. Does anyone remember the boho look that was very prevalent in the early 2000s? You know, it was all the long, flowy maxi skirts and then the wide belts that you wore, you know, slung low on your hips. I really liked that look, but I knew it was never going to work for me, so I didn't even go there, didn't even dabble. I still showed up to parties in my grunge wear or, you know, my halter dresses with the full skirts. Trends will come and go, people, acquaintances, colleagues will come and go, but you at your core, that will never change. That is the thing that you have to stay true to. Keeping up with the Joneses is always going to be a losing battle, because they're always going to have more than you have, but also it's going to be a miserable fight along the way. You don't have to go to war. Just recognize what is true and important for you and stick with that. You can't go wrong there. Next up is things you buy purely because they're on offer. Now, listen, if it's something that you purchase regularly, if it's something that you're already considering purchasing, that's great. Go grab that bargain. But listen, if it is not something that you would have previously considered or you did previously consider, don't purchase it just because it's buy 3, get 1 free. When I worked in retail years ago, years ago, I was always astounded, amazed at people who would turn down buy 1, get 1 free offers. I could not understand why, if you were purchasing something, you would not get the other one because it was free. Like, why wouldn't you take it? Whereas now that I'm older and hopefully wiser, I understand there is a commitment that you make when you buy something or when you take something home. You're committing to you know, cleaning it, maintaining it, or doing something with it, you know, making a decision. You're committing to finding space for it in your home, using it up, or whatever the case may be. You have to give over some amount of space, physical and mental, to that thing. And very often the cost of that thing, even if it's free, is just not worth it. Stuff creates a burden, and those people understood that. They knew that they only needed one, and they were happy to let the other one sit on the shelf and let someone else worry about it. Things are not a bargain if you don't need them, and there are so many other costs besides monetary costs that all add up and can make an item just not worth it. Speaking of that then, do not buy anything that you cannot afford. No piece of furniture or item of clothing or new gadget or gizmo or phone or laptop or any sort of technology, anything is worth sacrificing your financial security and your peace of mind. Not even stationery. I know credit cards are really convenient and they're great, particularly when so many of us are shopping online these days. You know, saying things like, oh, pay for everything in cash is all well and good, but when most of us are doing at least some of our shopping online, that's just not realistic. So if you can, obviously pay with a debit card. That way you're not spending more than you have on hand. But even if you are paying with a credit card, make sure that you can pay the full amount at the end of the month. And try not to get into that situation where you think, oh, well, I don't have the money right now, but I will by the end of the month once money comes in from somewhere else, because realistically, that's not guaranteed. Now, hopefully it will come in and you'll be fine. And I know there are some situations where, look, you have to kind of hope for the best. But if you can, only pay for things that you can afford in the moment. You have the cash or the liquid funds on hand to afford that item, even if the bill is coming a little bit further down the road. The reality is, when you are using a credit card, no matter how convenient it is, essentially you are utilizing a money lender. Now, okay, look, they're not going to break your thumbs or anything, but they will break your spirit. No item, no matter how snazzy or trendy or in demand, is worth paying that price. Now, if at this stage you're like, that's great, Laura, but it's a bit too late for me, I've already made some purchases that I regret, now I want to get rid of them without that kind of icky, shameful, guilty feeling. How do I do that? Well then, this video is for you. It's all about the things that you will never regret getting rid of. Or if you're looking for more general advice on how to go about decluttering, all the tips and tricks to make it so much easier, then I will have other videos linked for you in the description. Go check out one of them, whichever one you feel that you need right now. And until next time, go raibh míle maith agaibh. Agus feicim mé sibh go luath. Slán!